to talk about, I think we spent about 6 or 7 hours together yesterday meeting 13 incredible brands from all over the world, as far away as South Africa and Sweden. And we're really lucky to have this amazing jury because, as we were talking about last night, one of my observations, having come from the fashion industry and being kind of immersed in this community now for 3 years, is there's so much entrepreneurship in the beauty industry. Mm-hmm. There's so many brands, but that makes it so hard to stand out, right? And each of you has a very interesting, unique angle on what it takes to stand out. We have the L'Oreal Group, we have Sephora, we have an investor, we have a couple of founders. I wanted to just quickly run through with you, based on what you saw yesterday, based on what you're seeing in the market, and for all the founders in the room who are building their own businesses, what does it take to stand out? Ali, let's start with you.
Well, first, thank you for including me in this. It was really a lot of fun, and it was great to be with this group to get to know each other a bit. I think for me, what I was looking for were a couple of things. One is it really addressing a white space opportunity? Is it really differentiated? Is the offering something that we haven't seen before and can be sort of incremental to the beauty market? That was one of the key pieces that I was looking for.
Okay. Carolyn, what would you add?
So I would echo Ali. Thanks so much for including us. Awesome panel. For me, it's like a little bit of that, like the little tingle, I call it, like that little something, whether it be a unique point of view of the founder or a really cool origin story or a product that you're just like, oh shit, like this is like next level, haven't heard of anything like this before, and just thinking that, something that could actually change the industry. It sounds like a little bit trite, but it's like, this is something that could change how consumers consume beauty or how we think about the beauty space. So yeah, I kind of go to that gut.
The intuition thing. Yeah. Robin, it would be cliche to say you only care about the numbers, but I could see yesterday that you're thinking a lot more than just about, return on investment. There's a deeper set of things that you're looking for. How would you articulate what those are?
I think it's, to sort of reiterate a sentiment from before, people have a lot of stuff at this point. Mm-hmm. So I think the way to stand out, one thing that would be important is we look to founders to be brave and to honestly be comfortable pissing some people off too. Like, you stand for something, and for that group and that tribe, you deeply, whatever you're actually putting out there resonates with them. It's not for everybody, and for us, that's fine. It really is more about whether or not you can actually take a stand for something, and for it to be authentic for you.
And why is that important now?
Because there is so much that is similar out there, I would say. It's hard to cut through the clutter. If all you're trying to do is anticipate trends and jump on sort of the bandwagon for what someone else has already done, I think that's honestly more formulaic. It's more financy, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I think that what we really care about it's just the founders see something, and it's almost like they can't help themselves from putting that out in the world. And it has nothing to do, maybe not nothing, but it doesn't have to do with the numbers. It's just something that needs to be out there. They see it clearly, they know what it is, they know what it's not, and that's what we need to follow if that's something that a brand that we believe in.
Yeah. Okay, so Mariana and Ismael, you've actually gone and done it. You founded your own businesses, and you've taken some of the courageous, brave steps that Robin was referring to. When you were meeting our amazing finalists yesterday, what were you looking for?
I was looking for founders who really were not scared. So similar to so many of them, I didn't have a background in business. I didn't go to business school, but I knew that there was something I had to put out in the market. I knew that I was passionate about it and that I could build a team around me to really help execute that vision. There were founders yesterday who had that same hustle, they had that same mentality, and they were going to do anything it took to bring their vision out into the world, even if it seemed like the product might not work, or you had to innovate so many times, or you had to raise money to make this technology available to bring this product to market. And I think when you're a founder, you have to be scrappy, you have to be okay with people telling you no, and you have to know, okay, I really want to bring this out into the world. And we really saw that with founders yesterday, and it was so exciting to see, I was in their shoes 7 years ago, and then to see now today this next generation of founders, it's so inspiring, and it's so hard because there are so many brands out here, but I think they have really unique points of view, and I can't wait to see what this group brings, because I think these are the next brands that we're going to see really blow up in the future, and you guys did such a great job of identifying them.
Thank you. Ismea, you were like stalking the brand Instagram feeds yesterday.
Yes, I was
in
listening
the
to
judging.
everyone, by the way,
Yeah.
but I wasn't just checking my Instagram.
No, she was, when we were talking about creative execution, and you have a background as a creative and artist, really, how is it that how do you know you've seen something special, like genuinely creative?
Well, I will echo a little bit of, what these guys are saying. For me, I am, and I was yesterday, looking for that authenticity and that innovation. I feel like they're two very, very important things that kind of really create the magic. And I think, first of all, of course, you have the founder story, which is so important. And I think often, have an incredible founder story and also a very, very passionate founder does so much to carry the brand and really keep that magic alive. If you talk about sort of longevity, if you talk about community. And it's a tricky one with something like, an Instagram, because actually a lot of, when we did the research at my brand with, our digital heads, they often say, actually, it doesn't matter. Like, people aren't looking at the account to be some kind of, incredible, MoMA-worthy mood board. Yeah. No, actually, it's really just about the community and the engagement and really understanding your audience-ship and what they're after. And so I think it's a fine balance, isn't it? And it's the hardest thing for me because I just want to put gorgeous images out there and people don't care about them, apparently. But I will anyway. But, I think it's that
Creativity
really.
doesn't have to be perfectly polished, basically. It can come in a more...
Well, actually, I think now the consumer is incredibly discerning. And I think they don't fall for a lot of just really high-end, finished, polished things. They want the authentic experience. Experience is key. We've heard it a few times on this stage. And so I think keeping it real and true to your authentic founder roots and your community, like you guys have said and I've echoed, is the thing.
Okay. Ali, for like a big group like L'Oreal, making acquisitions, I think there was one announced recently. Mm-hmm. How do you know when a brand is ready for that big step to become part? I mean, I met with your CEO in December, and he was educating me on the sprawling number of brands in the group. Like, how do you know when something is ready to be part of a group like yours?
Well, I think there's sort of the quantitative facts, right? The numbers, the sales, like the financial health of the brand. But then there's also the qualitative, and that happens through tons of conversations with the founders, with the team. There's a bit of understanding the culture. So there's the hard side of it. Have they reached a threshold where they've taken the company to a level and now they need help to go to the next big jump? But then there's very much a piece around the softer pieces of the people, the culture of the organization. It's a bit of a marriage in a way. Do we fit with them? Do they fit with us? How is that all going to come together? And that comes through lots of conversations and discussion. So it's a formal process, but a very informal pieces of this big fancy process.
And given everything that's happening in the world right now,
yes.
Is that something you're still actively looking? I mean, you have M&A in your title, right?
Yeah,
So this is your full-time thing. Give us a sense of the market.
I hope we're still looking, otherwise I'm out of a job. I think, and I've shared this before, and you heard it from the CEO, L'Oreal is a company that's been made through years of acquisitions.
Yeah.
And so my job is to always be looking for opportunities, whether it will happen today, tomorrow, or in a year from now. And so identifying who's out there, what could be future sources of acquisitions, where's the growth going to come from? Ultimately, that is my objective, is to find pockets of growth that will complement what we already have. And that's really my job description. And there is no timeline, there is no deadline. And it's really about identifying incremental spaces based on what's happening with consumers, what's happening with retailers, that can help support, the beauty market and L'Oreal at large.
Carolyn, one just last question for you. I mean, everybody wants to be in Sephora at some stage on their founder journey. We heard about, from the Space NK team and from Nykaa about, some hunting for brands. I mean, how do you know when a brand is ready for Sephora? I mean, we've all heard stories of brands that have gone into Sephora and then, it's a lot, right? So how do you make that judgment when a brand's ready?
Yeah, I think the magic of the merchant brand relationship at Sephora is just that. It is a marriage, it's a relationship, it's a commitment. So there's certainly not a one-size-fits-all. Every brand is different. Every brand has its own journey. And it's because of that deep relationship. So I know Mariana talked about, 7 years ago, who could have predicted, at that time, how you would have grown and sort of the path and the journey that the brand would have taken. But I think it's because of that connection, with a merchant on our team that you've had consistently the whole time, that you are just in it. You are in it together. You are figuring out the right next moves, the right next steps. And when there are hurdles, you figure out the pivots and all that good stuff. So I think it's just a testament to, that deep closeness. I was saying to somebody earlier, we can be a total pain in the ass, but that's with love. I mean, that's, relationships aren't always perfect and it's give and take and all that good stuff. But, I think that's the magic of really Sephora's commitment to building brands to be successful for long-term growth.
Okay. Well, it's our second year of the Business of Beauty Global Awards, and I just wanted to thank all of you for all the time and support that you've given us. We hope that we've taken the awards program to a new level this year. I think the founders we met, maybe all the founders, can you stand up? Yeah. Honestly, we were all so blown away by all of you yesterday, and we were deliberating late into the evening. There was a lot of debate, but in a way, you really are all winners. I want to encourage all of you to meet our founders. There's 13 brands, as I said, from all over the world. There's a showcase which we've introduced this year where you can get up close and personal with their products. And if you're lucky, the founder might be there to kind of walk you through things. But they've put so much work into their businesses, and anyone who's an entrepreneur knows just how hard it is to build something from scratch. So we're so in admiration of all of you, and we really look forward to announcing the winners tomorrow evening at our farewell dinner. And thanks again to our jury. Thank you so much. Thank you.